Madam Sufaya Ekufu started speaking on Tokonu's dismissal and sack from the judiciary, she has not stated any facts. Emma Nasam looking unique and different from the ordinary Ghanaian on the streets. Sometimes when she speaks and you listen, you ask yourself, say, does she even have any law background? Has she learned the law? Does she understand that before you speak against the Constitution, before you disagree with the laws or due process, you need to have a counterfactual argument to prove, say, your case you are making, that is the reason why you do not agree to a specific decision that has been taken. And recently, since Madam Tokonu was sacked, I have seen that this woman has dropped from where she used to be, how we used to see her, the respect people like us used to give her, because at a point, she sat on TV and told some people that they have pin brain. But some of her utterances, her submissions on the sack of Tokonono, it is looking more like she is basically putting herself in the pin brain family. With all due respect, I respect this woman a lot. Now, these are some of the things she said about the Madam Tokonu issue, sacking her as the Chief Justice and also as a judge in Ghana. These are some of her statements. Or say, they or the allegations contained in petition lack the gravity that will lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of an institution of justice. Now, if you say the allegations contained in the petition, now, Madam Tokonu was given every room to defend herself. In fact, the president, when he received the petition, he actually gave Madam Tokonu 10 days, even though now Madam Tokonu asked for just 7 days. Madam Tokonu was given the room to look at the petition, the allegations in the petition. And you as a judge, when people enter your courtroom, there is a reason why you give them the room to go for a lawyer, to express themselves, defend themselves with the facts, to prove their innocence. The process gave Tokonu all the room to prove her innocence. That is why Tokonu went for a lawyer. In fact, she went for 2 MPP lawyers. That is why the president gave Tokonu enough time to study the allegations in the petition. So you cannot just say that the petition, what are the allegations that were contained in the petition, they lack gravity. On what basis are you able to prove that they lack gravity? Were you, or do you have any counter facts to prove that the allegations that were contained in the petition lacked gravity? It is upon Tokonu and her lawyers to prove to the committee that the allegations lacked it, unless you have other ideas, unless you don't want to respect due process, unless you are being mischievous as a former Chief Justice who understands how the law works and how people are given the room to defend themselves. And when I heard her speak like this, I felt so bad. I felt like the woman that I respect is forcing herself to be part of the pin brain people that she has been referring to. Because if I make such statement, I have to make it. You can sit anywhere else and say, this guy, he does not have the know-how. He does not have the expertise. He does not have any knowledge about law. He has not been a lawyer before. He's not a judge. He has never sat in any high-profile case. So we can give it to him. But you, when you make such vague a statement without proving that the allegations in the petition, the gravity lacked what you say, it lacked that gravity, it means you are speaking out of emotions. You are making a moral argument. You are not making a factual argument. And moral argument can be made by anyone. But factual argument, it's always made by people who are intelligent enough to separate Gary from rice. So, but you as a person, I respect you, especially with the baggage you carry as an ex-Chief Justice and a legal professional, somebody who knows the law. Now, Osaka Sembi. Momianko tie in Sembia or Kafa a yet talk on wasam no. Biwia na machro why this woman is forcing herself to be grouped or to be added to the pin brain people she has been referring to.
I'm very sad about it. It has really saddened me. And maybe in a way, I feel very distressed by it. Yes.
In terms of the conclusion that was reached, where the matter has journeyed from, is the sadness as a result of the conclusion, or you have questions about the procedure that took place before that?
The sadness is about the whole process. My sadness is because as far as I'm concerned, it was a very unnecessary. We have been taken through a very unnecessary situation, and which, as far as I'm concerned, and that is my honest and candid view, this has so weakened the institution of the judiciary. It's not so much the individual who occupies their position. It is the institution. That is what I'm concerned about.
I mean, what informs the conclusion that it's an unnecessary process? I mean, we have heard even government spokesperson make the point that a petition was sent, a committee in line with the constitution was set up, they've looked into the matter and they've come to a conclusion. Which aspect of it, what specifically makes that necessary?
I think that, you see, there has always been something wrong with Article 146, and particularly with the procedure that it sets out, and especially as it regards the position of the Chief Justice. In the Ajaychum case, I took the opportunity to reflect on that weakness that I noticed, and are these and these are not so, to me, they lack the gravity. They lack the gravity that would lead to a grave outcome, such as the removal of the head of an institution of justice. I've deliberately phrased myself that way. It trivializes the position, and I wonder what this is going to lead to further on along the line, because every judge is fair game and every Chief Justice is also fair game.
I mean, is that to suggest that you suspect there could be a ripple effect in that?
Oh, definitely.
Any matter,
it's not suspect. I foresee, not tomorrow, maybe not next year, maybe not in 5 years' time, but along the line, yes, unless those provisions are dealt with effectively in a revised constitution.
Maybe a more direct question. I have seen the letter that was written by the Secretary to the President to the former Chief Justice,
and that's the other thing. A warrant, a person holding a presidential warrant, that's what the position is. It's you become Chief Justice because you have received a presidential warrant. You can receive all kinds of letters that you are hereby appointed, but if you don't have that warrant, does that make you Chief Justice? Yeah, okay. So if you're removing the person from the position, is it a subordinate who signs the letter? Is that the way it's supposed to be done? That's just by the way. Food for thought.
Yeah, but I've seen a warrant as well signed by His Excellency the President.
So why are they showing us that one? I've been receiving all kinds of messages, and every one of them is only bringing out that letter. And in any case, is it polite? Is it proper that it should be a subordinate who writes a letter of removal to a Chief Justice?
When we go back into history, this woman called Madam Sophia Ekufo, she was the Chief Justice for 3 years. Now, this is something that we need to go back and analyze. When Charlotte Osei, people petitioned the president to say, Yenyi Charlotte Osei, Madam Sophia Ekufo had been appointed about 6 months. When Madam Sophia Ekufo was appointed as the Chief Justice, within that 6 months, Grandpa answer nobody bear 6 months, 8 months, she initiated the sacking of Charlotte Osei, and she initiated it and based everything on Article 146 that she is trying to tell us she has always had a problem with. The same Article 1469 that she's always had a problem with. It has been the same Article 419, or it was the same Article 419, or it is the same Article 419 she based on to make sure Charlotte Osei and her 2 deputies were sacked from the Electoral Commission. We are trying to let people understand, say, you're disrespecting Penny4. But you're Penny4 ni bi oha, maybe we need to correct them before they die. Because on say, maybe I do point to be now when you now refuse na say correct wa. What the sa atrono and sa nyomano to be ko womb, and that is what we are trying to prevent. Now, avoid contempt against committee probing EC officials. CJ rules. When Charlotte said 75, remember Bianca Asem no ho asem kura media so. Say unim now kwatena TV so now we discuss it. A petition na ye dia bre no. President, you are what court mraso, contempt of court at you. She basically wrote a statement and put it out. That is autocracy. This is Sophia Ekufo. They me born the video channel. She was the Chief Justice then. Time a petition no Nana Dankwa Ekufo gave the petition to her. Nana Dankwa Ekufo didn't give the petition to Charlotte Osei to study and her deputies. Like the way John Mahama gave the petition to Tokonu to study for 10 days. Nana Dankwa Ekufo received a petition against Charlotte Osei and her deputies. She did not give Charlotte Osei the room to even look at what is in the petition. No. He quickly gave the petition to Sophia Ekufo as the Chief Justice for the process to start working. In the time Ekodi ni hono and release statement. I'm talking about Sophia Ekufo. Yeah. Avoid contempt against committee probing EC officials. Time petition kodu committee enim na omu probi petition no and at CJ Emma Ghana for nyina warning. Wa we ye bema ana oba obebusa question. Obe raise issue. Obe question system no. You what contempt at show. You bet you watum. This is the same woman who today is telling us, say, ya boni, emono, enche obe wunti, yentie ono nyansa, with all due respect. Now, when you read the story, this is what it says. Let me enlarge it. The facts are there. This is City. Date Shaso, December 19, 2017. Reading time, 4 minutes read. What the 4 minutes of a kind story in a way. Inti, facts in the amount. You read the story, no? The Chief Justice, Sophia Ekufo, has formally constituted a committee to investigate the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei, and her 2 deputies over corruption allegations leveled against them, with a caution to the general public to desist from making demeaning comments about their work. Miami way at a committee. Ekufo had second petition and the man as a Chief Justice then. And on the Coma committee, a T committee, and on such a letter Ghana for Sobianka Nuntum. Nobody in Ghana. This was the warning from Madame Sophia Ekufo now to Wakasano. With all due respect to her, Me person who the kind of people, the pin brain people, no, and I make no. These are people we have to be careful about. Today, she's part of the Council of State. Now, I'll call the second paragraph. This is what it says. Already, some members of the opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, have started criticizing the process, accusing the government of seeking to hound the EC boss, Charlotte say. Into that time, now, I started, and the NDC for started say, Omokasa say, no. CBA process ne kone de. I say, abane faso, ekwambiso apam Charlotte. Because NDC forecast say, adenti ne kufu adon saka petition, one farmer Charlotte ready. Or the comma Chief Justice. So the NDC were making an argument to say, if the president even wants to, based on Article 1469, to make sure the due process is followed, why is he not giving Charlotte Osei the room to even look at the allegations before moving the petition to the Chief Justice? So the NDC started questioning. When a Chief Justice Ethics Committee or started warning the bread Ghana for say nobody should speak. In fact, let me read the rest of the story. When you read the rest of the story, this is what it says. Let me enlarge it. There are some people we are not supposed to take serious again in Ghana. This is the story. This is what it says. The Chief Justice, Sufa Ekufu, has formally constituted a committee to investigate the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei, and her two deputies over corruption allegations leveled against them, with a caution to the general public to desist from making demeaning comments about their work. Already, some members of the opposition National Democratic Congress have started criticizing the process, accusing the government of seeking to hound the EC boss, Charlotte Osei. The three officials met the Chief Justice a week ago, where they were notified. This is city reporting. Charlotte how dangerous she is as a former Chief Justice. Story ne say the three officials, meaning Charlotte Osei and the two deputies, the three officials met the Chief Justice a week ago, where they were notified that a prima facie case have been established against them. It when Ekufuado received the petition. That petition Ekufuado received, he never said anything to Charlotte Osei and her two deputies. All that Ekufuado did was that he moved the petition and gave to Sophia, who is the Chief Justice. And what Sophia did was that Sophia just called them and told them, say, I have received a petition from the president and that a prima facie case has been leveled against you, without Charlotte Osei knowing what is in the petition. That is what Sophia Ekufu did. Sophia Ekufu of Fresh Charlotte and the two deputies no more ban ho. One for petition and chromo. One chromo anything in the petition. Charlotte and her two deputies did not even have a clue of why they were called to the Chief Justice office. They were called as electoral commission chairperson and her deputies. The Chief Justice called them to come to her office. And when Charlotte Mudru Hono, so for Ekufu Kachiro say, Mensa aka petition from the president and petition in Muno, a primary facie case has been leveled against you. Intimate committee. Charlotte Osei said, we want to see the allegations in the petition. I said, no. I know these people, sometimes they chew their fingers, they chew their asses, and they'll come and ask us who ate their ass. This is what Ekufuado and this woman did. Today, this woman is telling us that we have murdered sleep. She murdered sleep in 2017. That is why she's sleeping no more. So for Ekufu, already murdered sleep. She murdered sleep when she was the Chief Justice. She murdered sleep. That is why she's not able to sleep no more, because she knew what was supposed to be done. She didn't do it. Now, who read this story? This is what it says. Now, I quote, the general public is hereby informed that her ladyship, the Chief Justice, and I'm talking about the statement she put out. And I quote, the general public is hereby informed. These are the strict statement Sophia Ekufu as the Chief Justice then put out to the public. After receiving a one fan Charlotte Mo. Remember, John Mahama received petition or the Tokonu for 10 days. Tokonu asked for 7 days. John Mahama said take 10 days. Ekufuado received Charlotte Osei petition. He gave it to Sophia. Sophia did not show it to Charlotte Osei. Sophia went ahead to put together a committee. Sophia sat in her office and established a prima facie case against Charlotte Osei and her 2 deputies. John Mahama did not sit in his office to establish that. John Mahama called the Chief Justice and said, a petition has been leveled, a petition has been brought, and it's against you. Take the petition and read and see what is in there. But Sophia and Ekufuado came together and decided to establish a prima facie case against Charlotte. This woman is today sitting there pretending say she never murdered sleep. Now this is the statement she put out those times. These are disingenuous people. Let's not look at them in their slow language and low tone and think that they are some extraordinary people with some good record. Thank you very much, team. Thank you for bringing this in. Now, so after a fresh Charlotte Osei ban office, President today, petition be abreme. Yeah, level some prima facie case against you people. So me ba committee monko and opamo. Now, owie no and actual letter to frame say mo obi anka committee na watere ho asem. The general public is hereby informed that her ladyship, the Chief Justice, Justice Sophia A.B. Ekufo, in accordance with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution, has set up a 5-member committee to investigate allegations brought against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Charlotte Osei, and her 2 deputies, Mr. Ahmed Usile and Mrs. Georgina Apapon Amankwa. End of quote. Owieno releases statement to say, Ojina 1992 Constitution, so Article 146 now, or say she has a problem with. When Charlotte Osei's case came, she used the same article and put together a committee, a 5-member committee. It was based on the article, no, to committee, no. Today, this woman is telling you, say, she has a problem with the same article now, and Yajina so Ediama Tokonu Ako through the process. Now, Unim say, timer of fresh Charlotte Osei Eban office. Okacha Charlotte Osei say, and Ekufuado the petition be abreme. Now, me na Chief Justice, me study petition. We have established that you people, you have committed some crime. Now, Mameka be in jail. Charlotte Osei, at the end of the day, on it, the deputies, they actually asked the Chief Justice. Besa to our story, so this is what Charlotte Osei asked. Give me a copy of my removal petition. Charlotte Osei to Chief Justice Madam Sophia Ekufo. Charlotte Osei can say, I want to see a copy of the allegation. Petition Ekuta o Sophia no. Give me a copy. Let me read and see what is in the petition. Sophia Ekufo said no.